In this episode, I will be teaching you how to model and color this low-poly beginner-friendly TIE fighter. It will be suitable for most game engines, including Unreal, Unity, and Roblox. This is Blender. If you don't already have it, head on over to blender.org and download the latest version. Blender allows us to make 3D models of many different types. It can let us make things like this, and also like this. Blender is open source, incredibly powerful, consistently receiving updates, and best of all, completely free to use. Okay, now that your download of Blender is complete and you've opened it up for the first time, let's go over a few things you will need to know. This is the default Blender 3D workspace, the space you will see every time you open up a new general project. It may look intimidating at first, but don't worry. I will be here to hold your hand through it all. Figuratively, of course. Let's start by scrolling your mouse wheel in and out. This will allow you to zoom towards and away from a fixed point in 3D space. You can hold down the middle mouse wheel and move your mouse to rotate around that fixed point as well. You can hold Shift and middle mouse wheel and move your mouse to pan around the screen. Hitting Shift and A at the same time in that order will pull up the Add or Build menu for you gamers out there. This menu is naturally where you can add in basic shapes to then edit to your liking. Think of it as a Minecraft crafting menu, but instead of simply adding different Minecraft ingredients to get your end result, you're adding in vertex and faces, arranging them around in the order that you want, and then getting your end result. The key, just as in Minecraft, is the recipe that you choose to follow. However, unlike in Minecraft, if you follow enough recipes, you'll be able to make your own anytime you want. For now, let's learn the basic hotkeys and actions by making a simple Zelda rupee. First, add in a cube by hitting Shift A, Mesh, Cube. Then we're going to add a loop cut down the center by hitting Ctrl then R, left clicking, and left clicking again. Now you can see you can move this top edge around, or any edge if you select it with left click. If you hold Alt, then left click, you'll select the whole loop like this. If you hit S after that, you can scale it up or down. Add in another loop cut after scaling that one up, and scale that one up by hitting S, then Z, and strain it to the up and down or Z axis. Great job! Now, let's take a look at the default screen layout. On the top side, up at the right hand corner, you will see a menu. This is your outliner. This allows you to view everything that you have in your 3D world. Up at the top of your screen, you have different pre-made workspaces for your recipes that you are creating. But don't worry, we won't be using any Python today. If you hit Tab, you can go between Object and Edit mode. In Object mode, you can move around the entire object as one, and it has that orangey-yellow outline. In Edit mode, the entire object becomes orange and yellow, and you can select the vertex, edges, and faces. Vertex is 1 on your number row, edges is 2 on your number row, and faces is 3 on your number row. Well, if you haven't rage quit yet, with the knowledge that we have gathered so far, let's get started on that TIE fighter that you all came here for. I'm going to be using Blender version 4.1, so if you downloaded an earlier version, go ahead and download 4.1. Go up to Edit Preferences right away, and in the search bar type in Loop Tools. Then, after you've enabled that, type in Auto Mirror and enable that. Go down to the hamburger menu, save preferences, and exit out. We're going to nuke that default cube, go to Mesh, or Shift A, Mesh, Circle, and turn the vertices down to 8. So there's 8 sides. It is now an octagon. Okay, we're going to take that octagon, hit R to rotate it, and X, and type in 90 and enter, and then R, Y, 22 and enter. So we have it situated the way we want. Grab that edge, hit S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale, And keep using that combo until you have created essentially a very blocky ball. On this side, it's going to be the front window, so we're going to hit E to extrude and then Y to constrain it, E to extrude, right click, and then S to shrink it in, E to extrude and Y to extrude back, E to extrude, right click, and S to shrink it in. And then we're going to go ahead, and once we have it the size we want, hit F. Then we can hold Alt and left click that edge to loop select, go up to select and check your deselect, and then hit I to inset, select all the faces you didn't select and hit I to inset. Select all the faces yet again, hit Control and plus on your numpad, deselect all the faces that you selected and then hit E to extrude them. We're using Control R to add some loop cuts in here. And then we're going to hit S for scale, and then Shift Y, and drag it out a little bit so it creates a little bit more of a ball shape. It's less jagged. We can right click it and hit Shade Smooth, and then turn the angle down for the Shade Smooth. Once we grab the front of the window here, if you hit O, it turns on proportional editing. You can hit G and Y and scroll your wheel until you only affect the amount you want. Now remember, in the beginning we turned on auto mirror, so we're going to hit N as in Nancy on your keyboard, go to edit and then auto mirror and hit auto mirror. As you can see, when we go back into edit mode, it is a little wonky. It is not quite perfectly up and down. Be in object mode, hit Alt R, it'll reset the rotation of the object, and then we can just hit R, X, 90 and put it back where we have wanted it. Let's select these faces on the top and kind of create a little vent. I mean, you know, it's sci-fi, so sci-fi vent. Right click, shade smooth my angle again. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this edge back. And in edge select mode with 2, I'm gonna bring this edge forward, GY. I'm gonna select these faces with face select mode. I to inset, and E, Y to extrude back inwards a little bit, like that little vent I was talking. I'm gonna add some more loop cuts in on the top so I can add some strips. Hold, Shift, select all those faces and hit I to inset them and E to extrude them. And then go ahead and select these faces on the side here, right click, and remember how we enabled loop tools? Well, right click, loop tools, circle, S to shrink, and we have a little hexagon. We're going to shape this hexagon into the wing of the TIE Fighter. Hit SZ to expand it upwards, and then just hit E to extrude it out, I to inset, E to extrude out, right click, loop tools, circle to get the hexagon back, E to extrude, and the reason we want the hexagon back is because the wing itself is kind of a hexagon shape. So we're going to go ahead and extrude it out into this little wing holder arm, if you will, or socket. Extrude out one more time, and then S to scale it up real big. SY to kind of pinch it inwards a bit until you have this shape here, and hit S to scale to the size of your liking. Hit E to extrude it out and give the wing a bit of thick. Control R, scroll up once to add 2 loop cuts, Alt left click, and then right click, extrude faces along normals. Hold Alt, left click, loop select the faces, go up to select, check or deselect, hit I to inset, select the faces you didn't have selected, inset them, select the other faces again, Control, and then plus on your numpad, deselect the big faces, and E to extrude those details out. I'm going to select both these faces here and hit S to shrink them down. And because the wing is not round anymore, it's a little oblong. So I'm hitting SZ to shrink it downwards again. And then I'm going to grab the top and bottom edge of it and hit SY to make them about the same length as the rest of the edges. So we have a nice perfect hexagon again. Hold Shift, grab both those faces with 3 and left click, scale them upwards. I'm going to use the same trick here. Hold Alt, left click, loop select the faces, go up to select, check or deselect, hit I to inset, select the faces you didn't have selected, inset them, select the other faces again, Control, and then plus on your numpad, deselect the big faces, and E to extrude those details out. I'm going to extrude out this center portion here, and S to scale it down, extrude it out, and S to scale it down, and one more time, S to scale that down. Right click, shade smooth by angle. Okay, I'm gonna add a little laser pistol thing at the bottom here, and of course it will be mirrored. Okay, so I'm going to extrude that down with E, Z, S, Z0 to flatten that out, and then right click, loop tools, and R, Z, and kind of rotate it till it's facing the correct direction. Select the front face, hit I to inset, right click, loop tools, circle, E to extrude, I to inset, E to extrude, I to inset, and E to extrude, S to scale. You just keep following the same process, you know it by now. At the very end, I'm going to scale it in and extrude it inwards to make a barrel opening, not too far. If you select the verts by selecting one, holding shift, selecting another, and hitting J, they'll join with with an edge. And then you can right click and shade smooth. Selecting one, holding shift, selecting another, and hitting E to extrude. On the front top portion, I selected those faces and hit Control B to bevel them. And I'm just going to fix this window one more time with proportional editing and GY like we did last time. Okay, we're going to go up into render preview mode and color this thing now. So we're gonna hit plus, new, and under, let's see, you know what, I'm gonna open up the shader editor real quick. Okay, so under this new color, this will be the base coat. I'm gonna turn up metallic all the way, and roughness, ooh, somewhere around, yeah, 0.5. Looks good to me. I'm gonna turn this base color down a little bit. So it kind of looks like a metallic-y gray. If you hold shift and select all the faces you want to be another color, hit plus, new, and assign, you can turn them to the color you wish, and it will assign the faces that color. I'm gonna grab the faces on the front of the glass here, and of course again, plus, new, and then I'm going to nuke the principal BSDF, shift A, just like we add in shapes, and a glass BSDF. I'm going to change this color to a lighter blue and turn up the roughness a bit. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the color of the rest of this thing a little bit quicker with the exact same process we used. I made a new color, plus, new, scroll down till you see emissive, turn it to whatever color you want, and crank up the emission. I'm using an emissive red. I'm going to go ahead and make some laser bolts by selecting the inside of the barrel, hitting Shift D, dragging it out, and then extruding it and shrinking it with S and E into the shape of a laser bolt. If you then grab the entire laser bolt, Shift D, GY, you can move them out and duplicate said laser bolt. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this process. Again, you can use this model in most game engines, you just have to export it in the correct way. You can bake it, or you can just export it as an OBJ and it should keep the colors. Enjoy your TIE Fighter. Thank you for joining me.